Welcome to This Daring Adventure podcast, where we work on bridging the gap between where we are and where we want to be in order to live a bigger and bolder life. In this podcast, we will provide inspiration, tips, and skills you need to make your life the adventure you want it to be. Here's your host, mindset mentor, and life coach, Trista Guertin. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this Daring Adventure podcast. I'm your host, Trista Guertin. This is episode 7. It's going to be all about finding purpose and meaning in your life. This is certainly something that I've worked on for myself, and I've had a lot of questions from clients asking how they can define the purpose and find more meaning for their own lives. So I've come up with 10 tips that might help you to define purpose and meaning for your own life. And I will go over what I consider to be my own purpose and meaning for my life. Before I start, I just want to thank you very much for listening in today. And to all my subscribers, thank you so much for taking the time to subscribe, to rate, to review the podcast. And if you haven't done so already, if you could please get on Apple Podcasts and leave a review, a rating, subscribe, I would appreciate that. In July, I sent out a request to my mailing list to subscribe, and that for each new subscriber, I would purchase and plant a tree from treenation.com. So for the month of July, I was able to purchase 20 trees in Tanzania. They've been planted, and I'm hoping to do the same thing in August. So if you're interested in supporting me in my podcasting adventure and planting trees, helping the environment, this is your opportunity. I will plant a tree for each new subscriber during the month of August. I also wanted to invite you to a series of workshops and group coaching calls I'm going to be having over the next few months. The first workshop is going to be on Thursday, August 18th. And this will be on letting go of the past and retelling your story about it. I will put more details into a link in my bio on Instagram. I will also be letting people know through my newsletter about these workshops, and you can sign up. You will receive the link. And if you cannot make the actual workshop, I will be sending out a replay. And I will also be holding the group coaching call, the first one on Monday, the 21st of August. This will be 1 hour. It's a fantastic opportunity for people to get coached live. I will be able to coach each person depending on the number of volunteers, but we can coach for 10 or 15 minutes depending on what comes up. It's a fabulous opportunity, not just for those who get coached, but also for everybody listening, because you can learn quite a bit from hearing someone else be coached. Sometimes what one person is going through is applicable to ourselves in our own lives. And so you can often see how the same issue or same problem that somebody is going through applies directly to us in some way. So these are fantastic opportunities. As I said, they will be in the link in the bio on my Instagram account. I will also make sure that there are links available to you in the show notes, and more details will also be going out to my email list. You can find me on Instagram at Trista V. Guertin, and we will also include the link to sign up for the newsletter in the show notes as well. So, as I said, those are going to be 5 workshops and 5 group coaching calls coming up in the next few months. And the first workshop is August 18th, and the first group coaching call is August 21st. So I really hope you will join me then. Now, in terms of defining your purpose and meaning, I think for me, this is something that I've really only started to think about seriously over the past couple of years. And it really was only because I heard my own coach talk about her purpose. Her purpose was to be an example of what's possible in our lives. And it occurred to me that I didn't really have a purpose that I was working towards. And so for a time, I sort of just adopted her purpose. And I thought, well, this sounds like a really good purpose. And I thought I would try it out. And, while it's a great purpose, it wasn't necessarily something that resonated 100% with me. And so I started to give more thought about what would resonate and what really would suit not just my personality, my values, and my lifestyle. And so I came up this morning with 10 tips that I thought might be helpful if you're looking to define purpose and meaning for your own life. The first tip I have is that when you are trying to decide what your purpose and meaning might be, you can completely feel free to choose something that someone else has selected for themselves or to be inspired by it. Just like I did initially when I was looking at my coach's purpose, I tried hers on for a bit and then eventually modified it, refined it, changed it slightly. And there's nothing wrong with taking inspiration, looking at other people, learning from them, trying things on and seeing how it feels and if it's appropriate for you. There really, it has no value in thinking that somebody, just because someone else has selected it, that it's off limits. It's not true. Look at what other people have come up with, try it on, modify it, change it, keep it, whatever you want to do is fine. Don't limit yourself because you think you don't want to copy someone else. The second tip I have is that just start, pick something, right? Try it on. You can always add to it. You can always change it. You can pick something new after a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever it is. I have, for my own life, come up with 5 or 6 now that, are really relevant and meaningful for myself. And I will change them if I feel it's necessary. I will add to them. I will delete them. Whatever you think is appropriate for yourself, you have full authority to take or leave whatever you want. The third tip I have is to really go into this exercise consciously with a feeling of ease and of light and joy, and to release the resistance. This is not so serious. This is not meant to be heavy and cumbersome and a burden. Keep it light, keep it easy, keep it fun and joyful. And whatever resistance might be coming up, consciously let it go. The fourth tip I have is don't worry about what other people think. Sometimes we will dismiss ideas be afraid to speak about them, not tell others, because we're worried about what they might think or say. And oftentimes, people don't really care that much. They may say things that aren't necessarily thought through. Whatever it is, let it go. If you don't want to tell anybody, certainly you don't have to tell anyone. But this is about you. It's about what's appropriate for you and your life and what you want to create. Everyone will have their own meaning. There's nothing right. There's nothing wrong. None of them are better than any of the others. You want to choose something that's authentic and that will serve you. Fifth is that it's never too late. You're never too young. You're never too old to decide what your meaning and purpose is for your life. As I said, this is only something that was really I've worked on for the past couple of years. I think it's appropriate any time that it occurs to you that you want to define this and start living from it. There really is no time frame for any of this. So, if it's just occurring to you now in your mid 40s, mid 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever it is, you are exactly where you need to be. The sixth tip I have for you is that there are no rules. There are no rules. You can make any of it up. You can decide, choose, adopt whatever you want when it comes to defining the purpose and meaning in your life. There is nothing that is better or more meaningful or more appropriate, right or wrong, good or bad. It's whatever you want for your life. So don't judge any of it. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge others. And make up the rules as you go. There are absolutely no rules here. 7, focus less on inspiring others and focus more on inspiring yourself. You may feel the need, and I felt this initially, to come up with something, a purpose, a meaning for my life that was truly going to inspire and wow and have other people have a higher opinion of me, of my life, my work, whatever it is. But in the end, I had to choose things that spoke to me, that provided value to me, that provided meaning to me, that I could live with, and that guided me to create a bigger, bolder life for myself. I wanted to inspire myself to take action, to grow into the next version of myself. And so at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what other people think. If I can help, if I can inspire, if I can somehow help somebody in their journey along the way, absolutely. That's fantastic. But for me, you don't have to feel that you need to inspire others. Don't let that hold you back if it feels like a constraint. The 8th tip I have is that your purpose and the meaning for your life and your career, what you do for a living, don't necessarily have to align. Sometimes the work that you do for livelihood will align with your purpose and your meaning. And that's fantastic. Sometimes you will consciously do that. Sometimes you're working a job to sustain your livelihood. And that's okay too. They don't necessarily have to align. And it's not your job's job to give you meaning and purpose in your life. So again, if it works out for you, if somehow you can manage to make it align with your purpose and value in life, that's fantastic. But if it's not, perhaps at this time, perhaps it changes, whatever it is, don't make that a constraint and judge yourself or beat yourself up for it, for any of it. It's all okay. And it's not your job's job to provide you meaning and purpose in your life. The 9th tip I have is to be open and curious. Sometimes finding meaning, finding your purpose takes some time, and that's okay. Just be open and curious to the world around you and to what other people are doing and what looks interesting, and just let it flow naturally. Sometimes when we're putting pressure on ourselves and judging ourselves, thinking that we need to figure this out immediately, it doesn't serve us. And it can hinder and restrain us in certain ways. So be open, be curious, look around you, see what looks interesting, and give yourself the time and the space to develop what gives your life purpose and meaning. There's no time frame that you have to do this. There's no deadline. So just lean into the ease and the joy of it, and continually be open and curious about what's out there for you and what would serve you. And the 10th tip I have is to listen to that nudge. Sometimes things cross our path, cross our minds, we come across it, and it seems kind of interesting, but we might dismiss it. We might not give it the airtime or the consideration because we maybe don't think that it's reasonable. We don't think it's feasible. For some reason, we just dismiss it. But I want to say, just if something keeps niggling at you, there's a nudge, there's something that keeps crossing your mind, just slow down for a minute and really start to consider what that is and why it continues to show up for you. And maybe there is a path here for you to follow. And certainly this happened to me with life coaching, becoming a certified life coach. It was something that I was sort of thinking about for a time, but not really seriously considering, until one day I sort of slowed down and said, well, why not? And having that sort of internal conversation and allowing to give it to that space opens up new pathways and new opportunities. And so I think this is part of our path in figuring out what's important to us in our lives. And it can be a part of the purpose and meaning that we have if we take the time to slow down and listen to those nudges and those little inklings that we have that keep coming into our path. So those are the 10 tips that I have. And again, you can take whatever you want, make it your own. Hopefully it gives you a little bit of guidance and inspiration if you are searching for your own purpose and meaning in your life. For my own purpose and meaning, some of the things that I've come up with over the past few years include leaving the world a better place wherever I go. So it may include picking up garbage as I go on a walk. It may include feeding a stray cat or dog. Sometimes it means picking up a stray cat or dog. It may mean sharing some of what I've learned with my team members. Whatever it is that I sort of feel that makes the world just, or at least wherever I am, a little bit better because I was there. And nobody really needs to know about it. But to me, I'm like, okay, I'm making a little contribution. My other purpose includes learning and growing and certainly expanding my life and the opportunities that I have to see what's possible, to see what I can do in my life and where it might take me. My other purpose is to travel as much as possible. I've currently traveled to 75 countries. I'm aiming to do 100, and then we'll see. I don't think I'll make it to every country in the world, but for me, this is just a fun purpose, and it certainly gives my life meaning and a lot of joy. My other purpose is to have fun and to have joy in my life, and that whatever I'm doing, I'm going to have fun in. And that just brings a lot of light and ease and releases a lot of the resistance and the heaviness that I've felt in the past about life. The next purpose, meaning for my life is having adventure. And this is something that I'm still working on, but certainly switching careers, opening up my life coaching practice, the podcast, the blog, the newsletter, all these things that are now a part of my life is definitely a part of the adventure. And I have really big plans for the next few years, moving to Europe, hopefully continuing to work on my coaching practice full time, all sorts of things that sort of are making my life bigger and bolder than I ever imagined. And the final meaning, purpose that I have for my life is to bring others with me on this adventure and as I grow and expand. And this does directly link to my work as a life coach. It also links to my work as a manager in my day job. But the idea that I can inspire others, help them to grow, help them to achieve their dreams, help them to live bolder lives is something that has become increasingly important to me as I've developed these new skills and have access to these tools that I've gained as a leader, as a manager, as a life coach. So those are some of the things that I've been working on and that are important to me and give my life purpose and meaning. You are free to take whatever you think may resonate and sound good to you, modify them, share them with others. I hope this has been useful for you. If you want to send me an email, let me know what you're thinking about in terms of purpose and meaning in your life. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out anytime. I'm happy. I love hearing from people, and I would love to hear if this episode has touched you in some way and what you're thinking about. In addition, I still offer free 1-hour coaching sessions. The link will also be in the show notes, and you can find that on my website as well and in the Instagram link in bio. If you are sitting on the fence, if you feel like you're playing small, if you're holding yourself back, this is your time. You're ready for this. I want you to know that you don't have to wait any longer. And if any of this sounds good, I want to help you. So please schedule a free session. get on my calendar and let's talk. Let's talk about what you want to create in your life. Let's talk about getting you unstuck. Let's talk about creating purpose and meaning for yourself in your life. All right. That's what I have for you this week. Again, please join me for my workshop on the 18th and the group coaching session on the 21st. Thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this Daring Adventure podcast with your host, Trista Guertin. We hope you enjoyed the tips and conversations on how to get excited about life again. As always, you can head to tristaguertin.com for additional resources and to book a one-on-one coaching session. You can also follow Trista on Instagram at Trista V. Guertin. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.